Assalamu alaikum and hello everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Golroti Real Talk with Eamon and Ems, where we mix real conversations with laughter, chai level honesty, and just enough spice to keep things going. I'm Ems.
Hi, this is Dr. Aman Tawheed, and thank you for joining us again. Today's topic is something almost everyone struggles with, but nobody really talks about it enough. And it was Am's idea to choose this topic, and it is adult friendship.
Yeah, honestly, making friends as adults just feels harder than it's harder than getting into med school, you know?
Exactly. As kids, always easy, When you were kids, you go to someone and you want to get crayons or lunch, you would just ask for it and boom, you're friends forever. But as adults, we need calendars, we need emotional energy, we need therapy, and sometimes a 2 week notice just to grab a coffee.
Yeah. I mean, did it not take 2 or 3 weeks for us to plan this episode so we could find a common time to do this
Yeah.
episode? But it gets worse if you're South Asian, right? Because you have multiple family obligations, weddings every weekend, birthday parties every weekend. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of, I feel, ego or egoistic personalities or traits in our South Asian community. I'm sure Baki communities may be here, but यहाँ पे I think there's a lot of like we have to like one each other up, you know? Like there's a lot of like
Yeah, and
ego and competition.
we're gonna dive into more detail. There's a lot of competition exactly in Pakistani and Indian society. Kiske paas kitna cheezein hai to show off. So yeah,
Who's the
today we are diving
most
into
flashiest? Yeah.
so today we are diving into why adult friendships are hard, how they evolve, and why some friendships break, and what friendship looks like in South Asian communities specifically. So I'll let Ambreen start.
Yeah. So why adult friendships are so hard? We're gonna just dive into this. Let me ask you, Iman, why do you think it gets harder as we grow older?
So I think because life becomes layered as we grow. Children or teenagers, friendship is mostly based on proximity. You are in the
Yeah.
same neighborhood, you are in the same school, you play in the same playground, you have same tuition classes, so it's easy, and they don't have any ego issues to go and talk to each other. So it's very simple and straightforward. But adulthood introduces like careers, marriage, parenting, relocation, burnout, mental health, finances, a lot of real life stuff you're dealing with. And then suddenly friendship requires intention.
Yeah, and energy, which we don't have in our 40s. I love all my friends, but I don't have a single group of friends here where I live right now. They're scattered like you are. Like you're a close friend, but you're not. But you're not in the same state as I am. So everybody's apart and everybody's busy and tired, and it's just hard to keep up, you know?
Yeah. And as people, also people change with age, you and I are still friends. That's good. We were able to keep our friendship alive and we were able to keep aside the differences and grow together. But sometimes people have priorities at 22, they are very different what it looks like at 40. So some friendships evolve. Sometimes you have a friend you were really close to when you were 18 or 19, and then with time you just lose touch and then it naturally fades.
We should talk about this naturally fading friendships, but yeah, it should be normalized in society. Can we also talk about how adult friendships now come with emotional compatibility as compared to when we were younger? It was more proximity and intensity and who knows each other's parents.
Yeah, absolutely. So we confuse access with intimacy. So, for example, seeing someone's Instagram stories daily, that doesn't necessarily mean that you truly know what they're doing in their life. So it's just a fake life you are looking into, and you're not actually connected when you actually try to be friends with the person and you get to know them a year or two later, and then you realize, oh, they're not actually my friends.
And you know, when you're younger, um, you can tolerate a lot of things, but as you get older you really want to protect your peace, the quality time that you have with your family, which already is sacred, your relationship with your kids. And that does, adult friendships do take a backseat, unfortunately. And you also don't tolerate a lot of things, right? Are you going to tolerate a lot of passive aggressiveness, one-sided relationships or friendships, people, people being rude to you or disrespecting you? Like, I maybe as a 20-year-old, definitely I can speak for myself and myself only. I would not tolerate at 40 what I did at 20.
Very true. So, you start protecting your energy. With age, you realize my time is very important. With everything going around in your life, your career, your kids, your family, everything else, you need to have friends who are genuine. But of course, if it's just passive aggressiveness going on, or somebody is just not happy for you, a friend should be happy for you. If you have someone in your life who's not happy for you, and there is gossiping, there's drama, jealousy, so you don't want to stay in that. And I 100% agree with you that you would not tolerate what you're tolerating 20, you would not tolerate at this age.
Absolutely, because you also have to be a role model for your kids, right? Your kids are passively learning from you. So
Yeah.
if your tolerance level and if your bar is very low, then your kids will catch on to that. But if they see that you are really invested in maintaining and making real friendships that stand the test of time, that show a lot of honesty from both sides and transparency, they're gonna try to do the same for their friends, with their friends. So I think it just trickles down, and it creates a lot of good positive change in a lot of people. But let's talk about the loneliness of adulthood. I think nobody really prepares us how lonely life can get as we get older, especially now. I don't think our parents were as lonely, but because of social media, I think we would all just, it's very tempting to just sit on your phone and
Yeah.
scroll Insta and Facebook, or just watch a YouTube video instead of making the effort to reach out to a friend, planning a party, planning a dinner, getting dressed, and
So
going
yeah,
out.
yeah. So it's like especially high functioning loneliness. Again, you said like you have everything, but then you still feel lonely. You are
Yeah.
successful, you're married, you have a social life, you are surrounded by people, but you still feel emotionally unseen. So that is one of the biggest issues I think most of the adults are facing these days.
Yeah. And people should know this by now, that your 1K Facebook friends that you have aren't your friends. They're just people you know. And there are studies that even that the number of people that you really know in this world during one lifetime is not more than 20. So, the rest are acquaintances, right? And that's why it's the illusion of friendship, but we don't really have a lot of friends, and that's why we
Yeah.
feel lonely.
Yeah. So, but friendship is actually exactly, it's deeply connected to mental and physical health.
Yeah.
Good friendships, they reduce stress, they improve your emotional resilience, and give people a sense of belonging. So, so it has to be real people, like those 20 people in your life who uplift you and who you go to when you have any hard time going on, you have a health issue. That is the person you can rely on, who can bring food to your family when you were sick. So this is the real friendship that you're looking for.
Yeah. And like Eamon said, if you have a not so good or not so healthy friendship, then it can really emotionally drain you. And we often talk a lot about heartbreak in the setting of romantic relationships, but we don't talk enough about how hard it is to lose a genuine friend from your life.
Yeah.
And
So
this needs to be normalized. And Eamon and I would love to do another topic on this. But yes, that is also part of grief, right?
so what happens in
Sometimes,
adult, yeah, what
yeah,
I have seen in adult friendships these days is you sometimes you don't even have a fight.
right.
It's just the silence. Somebody
It's a
starts
slow
feeling.
fade, the slow,
Yeah, it's just, but it's the jealousy on the inside. A lot of people are not happy for you genuinely, and when they see you, because they're seeing the superficial, they don't know the real problems you're dealing with in your life. What's going on? How's your marital life? How's your family life? How's your financial condition? They just show the persona they're seeing online, and they start feeling jealous. So, and then that's where they stop talking to you, or you stop talking to them. I'm not saying it's always the other person who's wrong. It could be sometimes us too, and we need to realize this. So yeah, and it's sad, but that's, and again, there's no breakup ritual for losing a friend. Like you do have a ritual when you have a heartbreak, but then losing a friend is also, it makes you mentally and physically drained.
Yeah. I don't think, on that note, though, I don't think I ever did a ritual even for a romantic heartbreak. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. All right. So, South Asian friendships, let's just dive right into it.
So yeah, South Asian friendships can be incredibly loyal, warm, and family oriented because हमारे culture में, it's all about
Everybody's tied
family.
in.
It's all
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna make food for you. I'm gonna bring you clothes. I'm gonna take care of your kids. So they're like, they become your family more than friends. So it's more intrusive.
Yeah. And, but sometimes with that, there comes an element of friends not maintaining good boundaries with you, so they could end up coming to your place unannounced. They could ask a lot of invasive questions that you're not comfortable sharing. um, and then there's also the comparison culture, where you're
Exactly.
comparing
So
careers, marriages, kids, the kids' IQ, finances, beauty, status. The list is very long. And that can pollute any good, genuine relationship.
yeah, so that's what you need to draw a boundary. You cannot, if you don't want to discuss when are you going to have kid, and how is your relationship with your husband, and then that's where you draw a boundary and let them know that, hey, this is too personal and I don't want to answer this. But again, yeah, they see friendships are like that. You cannot, if you want all the love, this is what comes with it. And comparison and jealousy, that's a part of it. You guys are similar age, growing together, and they see your kids, for example, accelerating more in life and theirs are not, then again, comparison and jealousy start. So this is, it's and your life becomes everybody's business before your own, and it's very common, and it's scientifically true. You can see around you in any of the households.
Yeah. And yeah, and that was mostly that what we wanted to talk about. It is, I do want to say that as women, we are expected to have a good big group of friends. We are expected to also take care of our kids, have a full-time career job, take support our husbands, our extended relatives, everybody. And I think if you're not able to do that, because I know I'm not able to pull it off 100% of the times, it's okay, and you should just give more grace to yourself.
So, and other than that, what I really want to talk about, Ambreen, is how these friendships affect our mental health. So sometimes if I'm going through some rough patch in my life, Alhamdulillah, I have you, I can talk to you. But sometimes when you have a group of people around you who compare them with you and who are not generally your friends, and you are thinking that they are friends, you struggle to be vulnerable in front of them because you're going to get judged, and then they're going to gossip about you. So that's another real problem we have in our society, and not just South Asian culture, that happens in other cultures too, but more so in ours. So it's just hard. You cannot talk about your issues to the people you are hanging out with.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's hard to find like-minded people. I see so many posts on so many different Desi Facebook groups like Soul Sisters Houston and Soul Sisters Pakistan and Canada, where people are like, I've been living here in this country outside of Pakistan since 10 years and I don't have one friend. Girl, I get you. I get it. It makes sense. It's very hard to find. I think Eamon and I are friends because we know each other since back when we were in our 20s. So and that's why we were able to pull it off. I mean, if we were to meet now, who knows if we would have been able to pull off a friendship, right? Because of time constraints.
And
um
another thing, Amreen, I think we were very tolerant of each other too. There must be times when I annoyed her to hell, but she ignored and, take it from grace that, she's having a bad time right now. I'll come back to her later. And same thing, like, if I was celebrating something in my life, she was happy for me genuinely. Because when you start comparing with your friends, that's where the problem starts. To maintain a friendship, it takes effort from both sides.
yeah, yeah, and it's constant, consistent effort. Since हम effort की बात कर ही रहे हैं, so it doesn't have to be like, oh, you have to call your friends once in a week in order to maintain that friendship. But ऐसा हो कि whenever you do talk, you're both honest and transparent with each other, and yeah, and you take it from there, and you know, that's how you are your most original self with a friend.
Exactly. Yeah. And talking about checking up on people, it's a good thing you have in South Asian society, by the way. If I am not there, if I disappear for 2 3 days, Ambreen would definitely call and check up on me. If not me, she will call my husband. Hey, where is Am? And I haven't heard from her. Is everything okay? Is she doing okay? It's just checking up on each other. And same thing I would do for her if she's not replying to me or something happens, God forbid. Um this love saves us, and that prevents deterioration of the mental health and suicide, which is very common problem
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah. So no, like Eamon said, no hidden resentments, high tolerance level for each other. Of course, if they're toxic, then yes, you need to make a decision. But if they're making you feel supported, loved, if they're accepting you with all their if with all your flaws, and if they're bringing you up with each step in life, I think you should not
Yeah,
lose that friend, right?
yeah.
Um, I
So
just
yeah,
wanted to
no,
add something here, Eamon. आजकल बहुत culture है यहाँ पे. I don't know if you've experienced this. I definitely have with having a lot of superficial friends.
yeah.
And people call them friends. They definitely all hang out, and it's very lively. It's nice. It's nice to do that at times, but I feel like I personally can't pull it off. So for me personally is, and many कह रही हूँ कि मेरा तरीका सही है गलत है. I'm just telling you that for me quality is over quantity. But I do see people just being
I
happy
know,
with
I
it.
definitely agree, but I would be guilty of that. I do hang out with people who are just my friends for social media. They will take me pictures. Like I go to an event, it's a party,
Yeah,
they
you
take
have food,
pictures,
you
click,
take
click, click.
pictures.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're looking like a
yep,
doll. Oh, stand up, and you take a pictures and post it on Instagram, and everybody's praising. Oh, wow, you look so beautiful. That happens. Those friendships are just for social media. They are
yeah,
not real life friends. God
yeah,
forbid something happens to me at 3 a.m. I fall off the stairs, they will not be the one showing up to
yeah,
pick me up and take me to the hospital. So you gotta prioritize, and I commend, I'm really happy that you do that. You need to focus on those quality friends who will be there for you in your bad times as well.
yeah,
TK good times is good, but then be there when they actually need you. That's quality definitely trumps quantity. Quantity could be just, glitter and shimmer and shine and show people, but yeah, the real life is where quantity counts.
yeah, yeah. And the cherry on the icing is if you have similar age kids and you have a little bit of similar schedules or work habits, social life, and you can always take a trip together. You can there's this lot of stuff that you can do, right?
Yeah.
Because of
And
social media, it's easy to stay in touch.
yeah. And last but not least, I think we would talk about to initiating friendships. A lot of people, like my husband, is very social. He would just go and talk to a shopkeeper, a person walking by the street. For me, it takes time. I have to be introduced by someone, and then I will open up to them if I like them. So everyone is different. Some people are introverts, some people are extrovert. Sometimes you meet someone in a masjid, for example, or somewhere in a religious setting, or maybe a bar, anywhere, and then you invite them to your house. You're trying to become friends, but then again, reaching out consistently. How much are you gonna do? I already invited them. Okay, I set up a play date. It's second time. Okay, I met them in the library. It's the third time. They are not doing anything. So and then you back off eventually because the other person is not doing the same. We don't know what's going on in their life at that time. Maybe they were not in a condition to host, or maybe they just didn't like us that much and they don't want to open up. It could be anything. So it takes time, and it's a challenge. You have to be very patient. What do you have any comments on that, Amri?
No, I completely agree with you. I'm just
Yeah.
listening, because I can relate, and this has happened to me where I met some nice people. They invited me and my family. We hung out a couple of times, but I was never in a capacity to host or extend the same courtesy that they did because I was working full time. I was doing a
With
waiver
a
job
baby, yeah, it's not
and I
easy.
had a baby, and my husband is a physician. It was hard. Doesn't mean that I didn't like them, but did they take it personally? Yeah, they took it personally. And then उसके बाद वही होता है जो हम शुरू में बात कर रहे थे, the slow fade. But
Yeah.
I can only I can't, you can't really make somebody understand your point of view, right? You
But
can
what
state
we can
it.
do is through here, through this channel and this platform, we can give a message to everyone. If there's a person who are not able to invite you back and that you invited them 3, 4 times and they're not able to reciprocate at that time, give them a grace. They will eventually come back to it. Yeah, I'm not talking about, they're inviting everyone else and but
If
not you.
somebody's toxic, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
we're
Somebody's
not
toxic.
talking
They're
about that.
inviting the whole city and not you specifically because they're jealous of you. We are not talking about that. But if some that person has not invited anyone, we have to give them a grace and be patient. They will eventually. It takes time to maintain. We all have a lot going on in our lives and we have to be patient with each other.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. And we did this topic because we got a few questions. So if you have follow-up questions about this topic, just feel free to ask us.
Definitely. And we'll be back again next month. We'll think about a new topic. And if you have any suggestions, please send us messages.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.